Greetings everyone, welcome to another episode of UJ Sport on UJTV. My name is Collen Maepa, the Communications Coordinator at UJ Sport. I'm excited about today's episode and the guests I have here in studio. I'm talking about head coach of the UJ Senior Women's Football Team, Coach Ntabeleng Dunga Mudiko. And of course, I've got her goalkeeper here, talking about Elizabeth Mazi Vise. Ladies, welcome to the hot seat.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Coach, let me start with you. You have done extremely well this year with the ladies team having reached the final of the FNB Varsity Football. And there was a lot of match accolades there for your team players. Please tell us how you planned to do to go into the the tournament this year.
Well, Colin, thank you for having us. It's really nice to be here today, on the hot seat, as you mentioned. Varsity competition for us is really a big one as an institution and also as a club. Because I think this is where we actually get to see the progress that we are doing with the development of the young players within the squad, and also just to prepare them for jumping into our bigger team or the bigger level, which is the Hollywood Bets Super League team. I think our preparation just mainly revolved around that. It was encompassing a number of players from different teams that we have within our structures, but mostly they need to be students of the university. They need to be fully registered with our institution for them to be part of the squad. So our preparation, we had a couple of trials that we started early on in the year, and also a couple of other trials which were taking place during the year, which were mostly focused or centered around the students. And we had a good turnout in terms of the number of students that came through for our trials at the different campuses. And from there, that's where we actually got to find a couple of gems, first year students. And as you say, everything was just revolving around the young players. A lot of them first years, and we just needed to use the experience of the older players. You can mention Gabriel Mokwena, Lerato Lefa, and even other players that were first years last year, Aisha Musa, and Makomo, just to try and solidify how we wanted to play, and also to give them the guidance and the know-how, because they were the ones that won last year. So for this year, they needed to be able to just guide them. And we were very much fortunate to have Elizabeth as well as Refilwe in the squad as technical team members, because their experience as well and their know-how, their guidance for the young ones was very much key.
Yeah. So we're going to get into the stuff, the player or squad composition. Elizabeth, welcome. You are the goalkeeper for the first team, right?
Yes.
And how long have you been involved with the team? And I've seen you grow over the years. Since I've joined UJ Sport, you were there since 2021?
Thank you once again for having us. I've been part of the institution. I think this is my 8th year. Started off 2016 development, and then 2018 got promoted to first team. So it's actually been that long.
Yeah. And what are you studying at UJ?
I finished studying, I first did an undergrad in sports psychology, and then went into sports science. And then I went into biokinetics, but then, with work and all of that, and then we had to just put a pause on that.
Yeah. And what did you, in brief, in short, what did you make of this year's competition, having played in the last year one as a champion, and then now you guys went all the way to defend your championship, but unfortunately you just came short in the final?
I think what Coach was trying to mention, that we had a fairly new squad, youngsters that were determined to defend, and I think they did well in how they prepared in their mindsets to go out and defend the way they did. Even with the seniors that came through, you could see the motivation, you could see the hunger, you could see the leadership from all the seniors that have been there before, guiding the youngsters, and the youngsters stepping up into that challenge to say, okay, we can actually go out. Unfortunate to not have made it, all the way, but I think the effort and what they put into the tournament was really something to applaud.
Yeah. Of course, we're going to come we're going to come back to the varsity football tournament. But before maybe we get into the nitty-gritties of who plays where and how you performed in the different league and cup competitions, maybe let's talk about the composition of the team. who plays in the Hollywood Bets Super League and who plays in the varsity FNB varsity football tournament, the Sasol League, as well as the Engine Knockout Challenge. Because these are 4 different competitions. They require different sets of players. Please just break it down for us.
Yeah, I think, just to start at the top, with the Hollywood Bets, that's like our elite team. It's the cream of the crop, if you can put it that way. This is where we have everybody, who's able, who's managing, who's, powerful enough to participate in that league. And then when it comes to the varsity, the FNB varsity squad, it's mostly students, registered students. Then they must be under 25 as well. So there's an age cap.
And academics, I understand they have to pass 60% of their modules, and the average for the overall course must be 60% as well. What does that do to you, because to your team? Because this year there were a couple of players that couldn't make it into the varsity football squad simply because they had finished studying, they were not studying. Secondly, they were older, over 25, and then thirdly, because maybe they couldn't meet the threshold in terms of academic, that average percentage that's required for you to be able to participate in there. What does that do to you as a coach in terms of selection? And I know I'm asking this because you brought in a lot of youngsters who, the likes of Lusanda Mavundla, who went on to be a star of the tournament. And she's a first year student. She was playing in the varsity football for the first time. Please just break it down in terms of who plays there and what does that do to you when you meet those kind of restrictions in terms of you are old or you can't participate because you're no longer studying, etc.
I think one of the tools that I have is my ease to adapt. You go into a tournament without the stars like Elizabeth because she's finished studying, and also she was our captain and our number 1 keeper. So you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to look at what what we did with the technical team was to just look at what we've recruited, who we've recruited, and try and fast track them, those that need fast tracking, but mostly also to try and work with them, be patient enough to try and bring them up in order and to be able to participate in this tournament. Of course, we had those, it's a detour. I don't call it a challenge. I just call it a detour because it kind of like directs you into something else. Lizzie is done. Refulo is done. You've got other players that maybe they've hit the age cap, and then now you've got players also that are maybe you can't play because of what you've done academically or what you couldn't achieve academically. It just made us have to go into the first years and have to go into the seniors and try and bring together a squad that will be able to participate. That's all I can say in terms of what is it that it brings to me as a coach. Just try and adapt. Let's try and see other options. Let's try and see solutions in this problem that we are facing. And we were very much lucky because everybody that we had was able to actually stand up to the task.
So for you, Lizzie, please just share with our viewers. You participated in the 2022 FNB Varsity Football Tournament, and you won that tournament at the Soweto campus. This year, it was played at TUT in Pretoria, or Tshwane, and the ladies did well. They won all their games, and they only came short in the final, which they lost to UWC in the final 2-0, right? You, having played as a last year, and having won it, and having seen the team actually advance all the way to the final, and you were working as now a technical staff member, what did you make of the tournament, and where do you think the girls came short in terms of when you compare them to the squad that you had last year and this year? I mean, the squad was fairly young this year. Everyone could see that. What do you think should have been done differently, or what do you think went wrong, or what are the good things that you could take out of this year's experience?
I think there would be differences in terms of experience, in terms of the pressure that it gets to, because now we had a squad where when we played, first you had the home ground advantage. Not that we didn't have it at TUT because the supporters came through, but it's just that when you're at home, you feel less pressure. Now you're away and you're playing a team that is fairly good, just as you are. And I think the experience here and there would show, because you've got players that it's their first time, they're in the final, we considered first. Now they need to show character, and they need to now find it deep, and So I think that is where we fell short a little bit. We could have maybe, if they had maybe just a little bit more to say, okay, we've conceded. But I mean, they tried. You can see in every effort that they showed. It's just that little bit of experience to say, okay, let's show character. That was all the difference that it could do to the game. And also, if you look at the team itself, coming through different positions, you being asked to play a different role that you're not normally used to. Whereas with us, we were all within our roles. If I'm a goalkeeper, I played goalkeeper, right wing. So just that slight adjustment into a final that also made all the difference that contributed to the result.
Yeah, for me, I think I agree with everything you say 100%. My own judgment was it was a fairly young squad, of course, with a few players that usually play in the Hollywood Bet Super League. They got the experience from there. And there was a couple, of course, that came from last year's varsity football tournament that played this year as well, who sort of gave the team a competitive edge. And UJ were big winners, if you look at it.
Yeah.
They went on to win 4 Player of the Match awards throughout the tournament. Lusanda Mavundla, who became the star of the tournament, won 1 Player of the Match, and then she went on to win Player of the Tournament at the end of that tournament. She also won the Golden Boot because she scored 5 goals. She was the leading goal scorer. And then you also had Wipelo, Tladinyana, you had Kabelo Mukwena. You also had Aisha Musa, who took the Player of the Match accolades. Lusanda scored a brace for a first-year student, first time in the tournament, and you could see how she cried. Shame, I felt sorry for her before she could be awarded those 2 checks.
Yeah.
She was crying, and you could see that she wanted to win it for her first time, and for such a young star, a young player, to have so much, such big guts going into the tournament. She wasn't phased at all when she played those UWC students. And those are students that come from the national team as well. Please just tell us about, Lusanda.
Yeah.
Where did you guys get her? How did you start, making sure that she excels in the team? And what did you say to her in the varsity football tournament?
Well, Colin, I think maybe I should highlight that, even in the squad that we brought together, we really didn't have attackers. Remember, our main attacker got injured just before the tournament.
Yeah.
And then we only had 3 forwards in Wipelo, in Aisha, and Lesego Nhlapo.
Yeah.
And Lusanda is not even a striker per se. She's a left back, she's a defender.
Yeah.
And for the tournament, we had to talk to her, we had to psych her, we had to train her to play that role of a striker. And for her to, at the end of it all, she's pulling in goals for us. She's pulling in top performances for the team, as well as winning player of the tournament. I think that's the other thing that was making her tear up.
Yeah.
I think it was tears where she's actually excited. She's actually
very happy.
Yeah, very much happy about how she's performed, because beginning of the tournament she was very anxious. We are taking her from a different position and we are asking her to do the job for us.
Yeah.
And she did a stellar performance.
And I actually laughed when I looked at her, because the Banyana captain came through to take a picture with her.
Yeah.
At the end, after they gave her the checks, and I saw her smiling there. I'm like, you were just crying. You were crying just now, and now you are laughing, and it's all good and nice. So let's go back to the tournament, coach. For a young player like Lusanda, who managed to win 15,000 Rand cash prizes. She was given that overall player of the tournament, which is 10,000 Rand, and then the Suzuki Golden Boot, which is 3.5, and then she's selected as the player of the match, 1,500 Rand, in the match that they played against Wits University.
Yeah.
What does it do to her psyche? And you as the coach, what would be your role in terms of molding her to become one of the players that we're going to talk about later on in the show, to play for the national teams?
I think, initially, the first thing that I said to her was for her to remain humble, for her to not forget where she's coming from, for her to not allow all these successes to get to her head, because we know that sometimes you end up now working with your head in the clouds, thinking you've arrived, you've achieved. And I said to her, this is a big start and it's a good start. This is where you can actually plant and actually grow from it. So you have to be continuously working very hard at training, continue working, continue wanting more of yourself, so that you can be able to achieve more and better than this. And I think the response was good, in the follow-up sessions that we had after the tournament. Even it was exciting for us to learn that she was even being considered for the under-20 squad, and also for Banyana, the squad that was playing.
I'm actually surprised that she wasn't included in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
For the World Cup qualifiers against Burundi.
Yes.
For somebody that young, and the age is good. Her playing prowess is good. I thought maybe she would have been selected for that one. But anyway, I think there's still enough time for her. She's got a long future ahead of her. For you, Elizabeth, maybe just share with us. You have been now with the team for quite some time, and having seen some of these players come and go, and played with different players of different caliber. You've seen the likes of Jessica, who went overseas. You've seen people like Aisha Musa come into the squad and develop to be what she is now, playing for Banyana as well. You've worked with the Shamase twins, Refilwe Maseko. What do you think UJ has that maybe other teams don't have? I mean, we see a lot of players from the University of Johannesburg being selected for national teams, be it the senior or the juniors. What do you make of that? Being among the players and seeing them qualify to play for teams like that, and people do so well, what would be your take and your judgment and say, okay, this is what UJ is doing? What do you think is different there?
I think it comes back to what the brand has to offer, which is, I think it's associated with a lot of success. It's youthful. If I'm a youngster, I wouldn't want to find myself not trapped, but in a different environment with much older ladies. So I think because we're a youthful group and all the successes that the brand is associated with, you've mentioned all these accolades. I think that's what you want to associate yourself with as an athlete. And it's also just the environment. We've got the best coaches. You've got coaches that are coaching in national teams like Coach Dunga. You've got the goalkeeper coach Lucky, who's also within the Banyana setting, under 20, Bafana. So it's all that the institution is offering that you want to associate yourself with, because that would set you up for more successes on an individual level. So I think it's all of that. And if you look at it, it's also the group that the university has, us as a team. You've got some of the best strikers, you've got some of the best midfielders. So when you put yourself in there, you kind of see yourself, okay, I'm next to a Coach Dunga, let me work hard. So it's all of those things that would attract you to be part of the team that we have currently.
Coach, we're going to speak about some names a lot, right? But I wanted to find out from you, how do you manage the squad in terms of who plays for different competitions? I mean, you've got obviously the Hollywood Bets Super League, and then you've got varsity football, you've got Sasol, and then you've got the Engine Knockout Challenge. When you pick the players, what do you look at?
I think for me, firstly, it's the talent. Secondly, your age, and also thirdly, future. We don't discourage older players from joining us, but we have to be able to stick to what our brand speaks to, and we want to have longevity, in the sport and in the areas that we are playing in. And so when we are selecting players, that's the couple of things that we are looking at to start off. And in terms of deciding who's playing where, mostly things like your Engine Cup, we know it's got an age cap, so we want to be able to have as young players that will be able to play in that tournament and grow in that tournament and dominate in the future in that tournament. So, of course, a 16-year-old is more appealing to us, especially if they are talented, if they are, they've got good success traits, like as Lizzie mentioned.
There's 2 kids that are playing in that tournament, and they're still in high school, and they were
Yes.
just crowned champions on
Yes,
Monday.
of course. I mean, you talk of Gabriela Collen Maepa, you know, she's also one of them. She's playing at her school, and she's a big star in her school. And when she's joining us, we are still molding her. So we always say, we are molding you so you can be able to go out there and represent us. Remember, you are representing the brand, you are representing the institution. So whenever you are not achieving or you're not receiving a good performance, it talks back to our brand.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that we're always talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go into the league, the elite Hollywood Bets Super League. UJ is currently in 7th place on the log, and you've got the team that is always the one that we need in tournament finals and elsewhere. UWC.
Yeah.
You guys have played 25 matches, and you are currently in 7th place. UWC has played 23. They are in first place with having won 21 games, lost only 2, and never drew a match. Then Sundowns, Mamelodi Sundowns, of course, they are in second place with they played 20 times, won 16, drew 3, lost 1. They still have 4 games or 5 games to catch up to UJ, and 3 games to catch up to UWC. And of course, that means they could, you know, go up the league table if they win those games. Where did you aim to finish this year, and how far or how close are you in terms of getting that goal of where you wanted to be on the log by this time of the year?
Well, if you check the difference of points between us, where we are position 7, and possibly where we wanted to be, which is in the top 4, there's a small difference of maybe about 4 or so points, and that means everything is crunch. It can change, you know, with just 1 win.
Yeah.
So that's where we are trying to get into the top 4, finish right there above the rest, you know.
Yeah.
Because in the last year we finished 5th, so we just want to be able to better ourselves and better our mark from last year. Also in terms of the points, you know, we finished with 49 points last year, so we want to be able to break into that 50 points and set a new record for ourselves for the coming seasons as well.
How many games remaining?
We're left with 5.
5.
Yeah.
So 30 games, you are at now 39 points. That means if you win all those 5,
it's 15 extra
it's 15.
points. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take you up.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
Number 1. And then let's look at UWC. They are number 1 on the log. You guys beat them in the final last year in varsity football, and you played them in the
opening match of varsity.
The opening match of varsity, and then they scored first, but then we managed to come back and win the match 2-1.
Yeah.
Right. Then we went on to play them in the final, and then they scored 2 goals, and we never responded there. I felt like in the final the girls, they tried, but I felt like they were probably fatigued, maybe you know, because of their inexperience as well. The demand of the tournament catching up with them a little bit. How tough is UWC, and what goes through your mind as a coach when you go and play UWC? Because you meet them in the league, they are on top of you. In the varsity football, you also meet them there, and you know, it's in varsity football. I could say you guys have got maybe the upper hand because you win a lot of games against them. It's just that unfortunately this year you came short. What goes through your mind, and how do you prepare to play a team like UWC?
One thing that I like about playing against the UWC or Mamelodi Sundowns, I don't need to motivate the players. They're already psyched, they're already motivated. So it's just for me to try and work on my tactics, try and get them to understand what is it that we are trying to do, what we are trying to achieve. So whenever we play against a team like that, I know, you know, I don't do a lot of talking. I just need to be able to allow the players to actually express themselves, because they are hungry. They want to be able to get that upper hand, you know, over those teams. They are a well-resourced team, well-coached team. I mean, you're talking about a team that has almost 7, 8 players in the senior Banyana squad, also the technical area as well. You know, you've got the assistant, the head coach of UWC. She's the assistant coach of Banyana. You've got the physical trainer. He's also part of Banyana, and many other areas as well that they are able to, you know, just get ahead of most teams. You could see that they've done their homework, they've done their research in terms of what is it that they can be used to push the team to be better, to be greater than every other team. And they've managed to do that. That's why right now they're sitting on top of everybody.
I felt like they, I think I saw that. I don't know if it's true. You'll correct me if I'm wrong. They brought in some players there in the final that were in the Banyana from the World Cup.
I mean, our opening match,
the players that were not there, and they had to bring them to make sure that they
because
win
they knew that they're
UJ.
playing against the best team. You know, you lose against a team, you have to go and cover your bases. And unfortunate for us, very unlucky for us that we lost Bipilo early in the tournament. And Bipilo was a thorn. She was a thorn on their side in that opening match. You know, she made sure that she caused too much havoc for them. So they had to go and find their captain, which is Bongeka Gamet, I think, to come in and solidify the team. And I think the presence of someone, she's a big player. Everybody knows her. Everybody knows her prowess, especially in the Banyana team. So you see her as a young player, as a first year, you are coming up against Bongeka. That sometimes can actually, you know, put you and intimidate you as a player. So I think maybe that also played a part in terms of why my team couldn't be able to come back. We were short-staffed, I'll put it that way. We missed Bipilo, and we missed her pace, we missed her hunger in front of goals. And then that means now the shared responsibility that she had with Lusanda in the opening match, Lusanda had to shoulder it on her own. And also we had to now throw in other players into the deeper end, because you must understand, if the final, it's a big moment. So you don't want to be making mistakes. And sometimes that can also make you shy down and not be able to express yourself fully as a player.
When you say that now, you remind me of our player also that we brought in to try and assist the team, or defender. She played a very crucial role, Buitumelo. Rasehlo, She played a very crucial role for as a captain for the team in the varsity football tournament. What do you think her impact was? And obviously bringing her in, she's still a student, she qualifies and all that. Of course, she's not playing for UJ in the league. She plays for another team. But then because she's still a UJ student, she's a club member here, and then you had to bring her in. What do you think she brought to the team in the varsity football this year?
Leadership, also her experience in terms of encouraging the girls around her. She knew that she's playing with younger girls and they'll be looking up to her for a lot of guidance. And I think, you know, pairing her with Yolanda Nduli, I think that also gave us a solid partnership there at the back. And also in terms of how we were building up through them, because you could tell a lot of our goals, a lot of our play came through them too. So I think Buitumelo just came in, she gave us that piece, you know, that piece that we're looking for, the final piece into the puzzle. Because I can shout as much as I want, but I also need a commander on the pitch. She was that commander for me. You know, she understood when to change the tempo of the game, how to calm the girls down, and also how to rile them up so we can be able to go and fight some more.
And if you've just joined us, we're talking ladies football here at the University of Johannesburg. I think you've got a very talented squad. If I go to single out all the players that you have, everyone is unique, everyone plays very well. You cannot fault anyone there. You speak about Lusanda Yolanda Nduli. She scored in the tournament as well, I think. Any of those players that you mentioned, you go to the goalkeeper, Matsiliso Masebe, she became, she shared the Golden Glove award with the UWC goalkeeper. That just goes to show that your squad, your depth is very good. And if we speak about the whole team, it's very difficult to not mention all these players. And I mean, you've got you. Let's speak maybe about you. Having seen Matsiliso win the Golden Glove, what did that mean to you as a goalkeeper on the sidelines?
I think it spoke to our department as a whole, because when we work together, we don't see Liz or Tsidi, or we see UJ goalkeeping department. And when she brought it back home to us, it felt like we had won with her. And it also just showed that she quickly had to mature into the role that she had to play at the back. She was doing excellent work at the back.
First time participating in the varsity football as well.
And the pressure was more on her, because now no one knows her. So they're going to say, this keeper undermine her or whatever. and she stood firm, and she commanded really well. Few, first year moments there at the back, but she held on to, I need to step up so that the team can, and even the team that was playing with her, some were playing with her for the first time, and the trust that just went into the department as a whole. It was really lovely to see, and for me, it was some motivation, I want to be like her in certain areas. Aerially, she was brilliant. So I took something from that as well, and we took the award as a goalkeeping department in general.
And of course, credit goes to the father of the team, to Mr. Lucky Shiburi.
Yes.
Shout out to you, Lucky. He is in the junior under 20 squad for the national team. They're gonna be playing 2 games against Burundi here in Johannesburg on the 8th and the 11th of October. They play in the World Cup qualifying matches. And just tell us, Coach, how is it like working with somebody like experienced as goalkeeper coach, Mr. Lucky Shiburi? I've seen him work with different teams. And he goes on to to train even Bafana Bafana. He works with the junior teams as well. Here at UJ, what kind of skills does he bring to the team? And he is an old man who is so calm, works well with the youngsters. Please just explain to us the role that he plays with the team, and what difference has he made over the years?
I think you've hit it on the head. You've spoken about his traits. He's calm. He's passionate about what he's doing, and he always talks about how much he wants the girls to blossom and grow. In the goalkeeping area, and not just them, but even across all the other departments on the pitch. He's there. He's encouraging. He's motivational. For me personally, he's one of those structures that I call my protector. It's the size of him. Every time I'm standing close to him, I know I'm protected. On and off the pitch. And I think maybe he doesn't know this, but he also encourages me whenever he speaks to the girls. He's also speaking to me as well. To try and keep me motivated, try and keep me focused. And that is something that we needed as a team, perhaps, because we have someone like him who's forever just allowing us to push the envelope a little bit further and further. And at a point where he needs to cut it, he will say it, no, not up to here. It's not flying. And for me as a head coach, he's always just so respectful towards me, and also the rest of the technical team. He's always just respectful. He wants us to work hard, in order to achieve. And that is the one push that I've always wanted as a coach.
For somebody at his age and working with youngsters, especially girls, I respect him. I respect him a lot. For you, Liz, what did you absorb from him over the years? What are the things that you think you learned from Mr. Shiburi?
I think emphasis is on what Coach was saying about how he's got so much respect, regardless of he's the eldest. He will still show the same respect to us who are like way younger than him. And I think it's the concept that he brings. He's a hardworking coach. You want him there at 3, he's going to be there. You want him at 2, he's going to be there, even though training is at 4. He wants that concept to be drilled in us, that you have to work hard if you want results. Sometimes you can have a good performance and you concede, and then he applauds the good performance, but he says, we are still conceding. I don't like that we are still conceding. So that shows you as a player that you've got to get it to the T with him when it comes to your work ethic. He's really a big rewarder of your work ethic, and that has also been something that I've tried to strive to always just put in the work hard, especially when he's supporting you that much, showing up for you and all the other goalkeepers. He's very patient. Especially if you're struggling with an area, you would rather focus on that until you've improved, and then we can go back to, just
the other stuff.
Yeah, polishing the other stuff. So I think that's what I've taken from him. I've really absorbed the concept of the work ethic has to be above.
I wish I had people like Mr. Lakishiburi when I was still in high school playing football as a goalkeeper. I was very good.
Yeah.
It's not a lie. Yeah, I was a very good goalkeeper.
You can come back. You'll
Yeah,
revive
no,
you.
I should. There's the UJ Staff League,
Exactly.
you know. I need to go back there. And I was telling Pasega the other day when we were at the Varsity Sports matches in Soweto that, hey, I need to come back there, man. But I know you're a goalkeeper coach. Maybe you step aside and just give me a chance. You know? So, of course, we're talking about Mr. Lakishiburi being part of the junior under-20 World Cup qualifying games with the national teams. There's obviously 6 students recently that were selected to be part of the national teams as well. 4 of them are with Banyana playing in the current COSAFA match, the COSAFA tournament, and 2 of them playing with Mr. Lakishiburi in the junior under-20 national team. I'm talking about the Chamase twins. They are in there. Actually, now it makes it 7 because they rope in Aisha in the 11th hour. Yeah. So it's Spumelele Chamase, Tubeli She Chamase, Kabelo Mukwena, who had a very amazing run in the varsity football this year. And who's the other one? Please help me. Karabo Mohale.
Yeah.
Yes. And then those are the 4. Then the 5th is Aisha Musa. And then in the junior teams, it's Sandra Mibe and Adriel Mibe.
Yeah.
Please, coach, tell us, what does this mean for the UJ Football Club? It's common
for
our players to feature in the national teams.
Yeah.
What does that say about us as a UJ Football Club? And what does that say about the type of, the work that is being done by you as coaches?
Yeah. I think, then it also, you can start looking at UJ as a very fertile ground in terms of development. I mean, you look at the players that you've mentioned, all of them very young, going into the national teams, whether it's under 20, under 17, and now Banyana. Chamase twins, we know the talent that they have, and it's only been a matter of time for them to actually don the T-shirt together. Previously, it was Pumelela alone or Tubelihle alone, but in the juniors, we knew that it's them together. They have to be there. They are dominating, and they're not there for just participating purposes. They are there to compete. And I think, it speaks back to the success rate that we have. If you look at Engine knockout and Champ of Champs, last year and this year, it was dominated by UJ. We won it. So it speaks to that youth element that we always just want to embrace. Try and get them young. Try and teach them the trades of how we do things at UJ, and also send them out into the world as achievers.
Incredible stuff. Speaking of Engine Knockout Challenge, UJ has won the Engine Knockout Challenge earlier this year. And then recently on Monday, they went on to, obviously for people that don't understand how the tournament works, is you play in the Engine Knockout Challenge. The prize money there is 30,000 rand, 25,000 rand. And then they're going to take the national teams,
the teams
who became champions in different regions. They bring them together, and then they become the champ of champs.
Correct.
UJ has won that back-to-back. Last year, 2022, both the 2 tournaments. This year, same thing again. Coach Sbongile Sitole with the youngsters there. What's her name? Nimak. Kelly Nimak. Is she the daughter of Mr. Nimak, the one who played for?
No, they're just related.
Not. Oh, okay. My knowledge goes back there, right? Yeah.
I know,
So what do you make of their run there, and what do you think Coach Sbongile Sitole has done with the youngsters?
Yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, it started last year. Last year was the first time that we are participating in it, and we won it. And this year, the mission was won. You have to defend it. And I think they did it very well in the earlier time when we were playing against. We were playing in the knockout challenge to represent Gauteng, and she has done tremendously because these are players that some of them she handpicked. She's been working with them in the junior areas of our structures. She's seen them develop, she's seen them grow, and at this time around she said this is the right time for you to come up, and the results speak for themselves. She has done the same again in preparation, prepared them for the Champ of Champs. A little bit difficult. I mean, I think when we lost against Durban Ladies, everybody started thinking, oh no, it's a downer. But this is how UJ is. We know how to come back. I mean, you speak of the game against UWC. They scored first, and we managed to respond with 2 goals and win the game. And even with this one, we lost 1 game against Durban Ladies, but we also managed to hold our nerve, go as far as the penalties.
Just to give maybe the viewers a little bit of how it went down. UJ played the City Lads Ladies. They won 1-0 that game. And they went on to, of course, the second game lost to the Durban Ladies 1-0. And then on Sunday, 1 October, they then played Richmond United. UJ won 1-0. And we went on and out. We leveled. We were playing Bootleg United.
Yeah.
We thrashed them 5-0. And then we went on, of course, into the final. Played Cape Town Roses. We played 1-1 at full time, and then we went to penalties, and we did to them what TUT did to our boys.
Yeah.
We won 5-4, right?
Yeah.
And of course, varsity football men's in the final, our boys had a tough one there. They played very well in the final. Unfortunately, penalties, as they say, the lotteries, we lost that game there 5-4 on penalties. But this time in the Engine Champ of Champs, just few days after the final of the varsity football, our ladies do the same thing that TUT did to us. They had a very excellent run. Coach, maybe just for our viewers, they call you Dunga. Right? I had to bring that one in since this is our first interview with you on UJTV. Obviously inspired by the Brazilian defender, the maestro himself, Dunga, the captain. When did you make your debut? How old were you when you made your debut for Banyana Banyana?
Very old. I was 20 years.
20. No, but it's still fairly young. Yeah.
I was 20 years old.
I'm just asking because we've got youngsters like Aisha now, Kabelo coming into the fold. And it's very inspiring to see them actually play for Banyana Banyana at that age. Now, there's something that I want to close with, right? Very interesting. You guys are the champions of the University Sports South Africa Championship, which you played in Secunda, Mpumalanga last year in December. This year you are playing in Cape Town. And do you see yourself going all the way and defending your title?
It wouldn't be our slogan if we didn't say all the way, you know. It's our slogan. We have to go all the way, and we have to defend it because we don't want to lose. This is our prized possession, you know, the USA Trophy. And I think last year we showed dominance again. So
both the men's and the ladies winning.
And the ladies side. So this year it goes without saying. We have to defend it. We have to go all the way and win it.
And for you, Mazivise, where do you see the team finishing?
Number one.
Number one.
Yeah. No
Both
doubt.
the guys and
both. I don't
the ladies.
see any team. I mean, there'll be challenges, but with the current squad that we have, and I think with the current squads that we have, both males and females, I don't see us going out second best to any team. We're going to go all the way.
So UJ played, the UJ guys played their first ABC Motsepe League match out in Mamelodi this past weekend. Unfortunately lost that match to an early penalty that was conceded. Your message to them ahead of the long journey that they're going to have in the Gauteng ABC Motsepe League?
I think they've got what it takes to compete in the league. They just need to believe in themselves. They've got a good squad in all the different departments, attacking, defending, goalkeeping. So I think they just need to head up. It's just the first game, you know. Champions always go, you know, lose the first game. That's like the UJ style. You lose the first game only to catch up and surpass the rest. So I think we still got a very long road ahead. They must just keep their head up. They should just continue working and get the points that they deserve because they've worked hard to be where they are. And I think just believe in each other and believe in their abilities and whatever the coach's instructions are. I think they've got what it takes to finish top 3.
Coach, your sentiments?
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So don't judge yourself on this loss. I think, I mean, it's a penalty. Surely you were trying to do something. And
it could have actually ended in a 0-0 draw.
Yeah, it could have been a stalemate. So I think it shouldn't, this shouldn't be how we are looked at and say, no, we're not going to make it in this league. I think, as Lizzie mentioned, it's a long journey. and it's for them to actually just dust themselves, go back, work harder, and you'll see. As soon as we get that first win, it will open up for more.
Yeah. So for people that are watching this interview, you're thinking, man, I know this lady from Supersport. She's a seasoned football analyst on Supersport. She done a very fantastic job during the FIFA Women's World Cup. And of course, Banyana made history there, going all the way into top 16.
Of course.
You were obviously there, day in, day out, talking the ladies football there. What did you make of Banyana's performances in the World Cup?
Very much encouraged, very much excited, to watch how they were performing. They performed way better than what we had anticipated.
Yeah.
We knew we're coming up against tough teams, Sweden, Italy, as well as Argentina. There were no pushovers, and Banyana as well. There were no pushovers. I think somewhere, wherever the Swedes are, or the Argentines, or even the Italians, they're talking about Banyana because Banyana made a long-standing memory for them, to think about Banyana in terms of how they were performing. So I'm very much encouraged. And I think for them to reach the round of 16, it's a highlight for everybody, all the young girls that are watching, and even us, the old ones, we are very much motivated by that, and we want to work harder in terms of supporting Coach Des, her teams, the juniors, everybody, just to try and push us further than the round of 16.
Yeah. Of course, in closing, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on this one. With 4 UJ teams finished as silver medalists this year, of course, 3 of them in the varsity football tournament, which is a very big achievement. No other university team has 3 of their teams participating, competing in the final of the FNB varsity football tournament. So we've had your team, the ladies, going all the way, and we've got the men's
team,
going all the way as well, and we had netball as well participating in the final in Pretoria there against the UP Tucks. What did you make of that? What do you make of being the silver medalist this year, and what do you think maybe we should do differently going forward to win it?
I think the encouraging part is that every other team had to play against UJ. UJ was the team to beat. UJ was the team to play against. You mentioned all the sporting areas that we got silver in. We were there against a UWC. The men's team was there against TUT. So there's no consistency, in per se from the other teams. But for us, we know.
And we've done it with winning all the way, all the way.
Completely.
And with the netball, they lost just the opening 2 matches, but very, very close. The margins were very close in terms of the final scores. But you went all the way. You won all your matches. You only lost the final.
The final, yeah.
The guys also, they drew 2 matches at the beginning of the tournament. They won all the matches at home. Well, they drew 3, right? Because they played TUT.
Away, isn't it?
TUT, the last group match. They here at Soweto. The other 2 was the away matches when they started. But they went all the way.
Yeah.
Unbeaten, actually. All the 9 matches played, only losing that final match on penalties.
On penalties, yeah.
So your sentiments on that?
Yeah, we are the team to beat. Honestly, I think any other team that sits into a competition and they find UJ is there, they always say there's no one else. We have to play against UJ, and most likely you'll find us in the final. Most likely you'll find us competing for that. And it's not just for us to participate, we want to get that trophy. It's just very unfortunate that, sometimes results don't come the way that we're expecting.
Yeah, but
it's very tough. It's very tough.
My heart was very sore. I remember with the football guys after they lost that match to TUT, I didn't even eat at the clubhouse there when people were eating. I just felt sore.
Yeah, it's sore, which means next year we're going to win it. If you feel that way and you remember that feeling, definitely, for all of us as a club, as an institution, next year we'll remember this feeling that we are feeling this now, and we'll carry that, and it will push us to try and win it back.
I just hate going to the final, and then just when you're supposed to get there, it's like, so close yet so far. Nobody remembers people that finish second. We want to be champions and be number 1. What did you make of that? The silver medals, 4 of them.
I think it goes back to, again, the institution. That's what we stand for. We stand for at least a podium finish. It wasn't gold. That means next year when we're coming, they know us now. In all those different sporting codes, they know us.
Well, they've been knowing us.
They've been knowing us, but they refuse to accept. That's the problem.
Why? It's like, what I've realized, Coach, when we go into these tournaments, it's like everyone just wants UJ to lose.
Yeah.
UJ to lose. Why is the case?
And they celebrate
Yeah, they
whenever
do.
we
yeah,
concede.
why is that so? Because they know that we will be there.
we are forced
Even if
to
it means sending 7 or 10 buses to the match
Exactly.
in
You see,
Pretoria, there
you
we
see.
will be there.
We will
True,
paint your
that's
town
true.
orange. That's
Yeah.
definitely it. And I think that's why everyone wants us to lose.
Yeah.
They are gunning for us to lose because they know if
We
we
are doing
win,
well.
it's going to be orange.
Yeah,
Yes,
guys, give us a
true.
break.
That's so
Give us a break. Come on. UJ, in how many finals did we play this year? I think it was seven
For us,
seven
for the women's
finals.
team?
All the teams,
Yeah.
all the teams.
Yeah.
Basketball won their championship,
Yeah.
the USA in Durban.
Yeah.
The second team of the netball ladies in Cape Town, they won the USA. And then we had the rugby men's team finishing as silver medalist in Durban in the USAs. And then we had netball in varsity netball. Then we've got your ladies in the varsity football team tournament, and then the men's and champ of champs.
Yeah.
And rugby ladies.
Right?
Also.
Yeah, and rugby ladies winning the MasterCard championship as well. So what more do you want? We will annoy you at the stadium. Yeah. So coach, thank you so much for your time here, and I appreciate your presence. I know that you're off to Zambia tomorrow. Please tell us just briefly, what are you going to do there?
Oh, it's a CAF coaching course. I'm trying to just elevate, try to get as much knowledge as possible. Trying to get the B license. It's higher than what I already have now. Trying to get the girls to be better in terms of how I train them and how I coach them. So I'll be gone for a month, but I know they won't miss me, because I'm always.
So who takes over when you're gone?
No, Coach Spongile will be there. Coach Lucky will be there. We'll still have Coach Kelly, our sports scientist, as well as our video analyst, Mr. TK Bakani. But also, there's rumors that all of them they'll be gone because we are going into different national team duties.
Oh, I see.
So possibly you, Collen, you'll take over.
They must call me there. Because we're gonna finish the Hollywood Super League, Hollywood Bet Super League on the 26th of November, if I'm not mistaken.
Preparing us because as soon as we finish it, we jump into USAS, and now UJ is back again.
All right. Thank you so much. I enjoyed this conversation. I hope you did. Please join us in our next episode as we talk sports here at the University of Johannesburg. Peace.
The University of Johannesburg, the future reimagined.